Welcome to the CookUp. And CookUp connoisseurs, if you have been looking at us, you will see that we look a bit different today. And that is because we are in the first in our special Independence series. And of course, we have a special assistant chef with us in the kitchen today. I'm going to tell you more about this. As customary, we are having copious conversation on cultural heritage. I am Alicia Daniel Blake. I am the Research and Communications Officer in the Ministry of Sports and the Creative Economy. Today, we will connect with the nationhood of St. Kitts and Nevis. Our guest today is one, and she'll be representing a team of creatives who designed one of our national symbols, specifically the national wear of St. Kitts and Nevis. So if we were to look in our domains, this would fall under social practices, rituals, and festive events, and the element would be traditional wear. Now, CookUp connoisseurs, if you message us and tell us all 5 of the ICH elements, we will give you a big shout out at the end of this show. Facebook, you can connect with us at ICH SKN or SKN ICH, on YouTube at St. Kitts Culture, and on X, or formerly Twitter, it would be St. Kitts Culture as well. Now, assisting me today is Dr. Joylette Woodley-Fassale, and she will be telling us all about the national wear of St. Kitts and Nevis. Welcome, Dr. Woodley. Maybe you can begin by telling us the team, the names of the team that produced or designed our national wear.
Okay, good morning to TV Land and all the persons who are viewing this session. And I want to thank the CookUp for having me here this morning. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you, Mrs. Blake. The members of the team, of course, includes myself, my sister, Grace Woodley, my cousin, Vaughn Woodley, and a very dear friend of ours, Mr. Dwayne Weeks. And all of us, I have to let you know, we all hail from Sandy Point. So that is something very important for me to get inside there. Once we start out, we are all Sandy Pointers. Hub. Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, so before going any further, well, you were complete?
Yes.
Okay, before going any further, we'll look at this short video clip of Jacinth Henry Martin, and she happened to be the Director of Culture at that point in time, and she was the Minister responsible for Information, Culture, Youth and Sport, and she gave a list of criteria that it was important to have in the national wear, because there was an actual competition. CookUp connoisseurs, let's look at this clip.
National dress helps us, first of all, in the research to decide what the national dress will be, to investigate our own selves, our history, our culture, our heritage, our people, things that we are known for. And in that investigation, we would want to put together a series of aspects, if you will, of who we are, that can come together in formulating a national dress. The process itself is one that is educational. To the extent that it was a competition, it provided all of the persons who participated an opportunity to inquire about who are we really as a people. What can we put together in such a way that it creates a national dress? Aspects of our reality, past and present.
Welcome back to that. And notice that the Honorable Jacinth Henry Martin, at the time, she had risen from director to become the minister responsible for that area. And she is now presently an ambassador for us. So we can see her accomplishments. So now, Dr. Woodley, let's begin. Let's ask you the questions. first of all, would you say that your design achieved the criteria that the then minister spoke about?
Well, that sounds like a trick question because obviously we won. And we were one of 17 entries. And we stuck to the criteria that was outlined in the newspaper at the time. It was in the social media like now, where you had to go online. I actually saw the ad in one of the newspapers with the criteria. We stuck to the criteria. We went back to the mecca of education in Sandy Point, the Sandy Point High School, where we sat in one of the classrooms and we put our heads together and we came up with the national wear. So I would say yes, we met the criteria and we won. It's important to let persons know it wasn't just a panel of judges that would have contributed to the winning team. 25% of the votes actually came from the public. So the public was very much involved in actually choosing the national wear, which for me is something important because to have a national wear, it should represent the majority, if not all, of the persons that we are doing it for.
Lovely. So take us through each part of the outfit. We have a female one and we also have a male outfit.
Okay, so we have the female outfit. And if you're looking at your screen, you can see it. And what we really wanted to do was to have something that reflects our Caribbeanness as it is. So if we were to strip the female's wear as it is, you would come down to a very basic dress in the center of it. A very basic white or beige off-white cotton dress. Why we chose that material? Because it is a light material, it is airy, and for us to live in the summer countries, the tropical countries, this dress is very appropriate. So as you can see, there's a white, off-white cotton dress that runs down the center. Now, that dress has two components to it, the top piece and the bottom piece. Now, as you are aware, we were both colonized by the French, by the British. So the top piece, we decided we would go with the corset, because the corset is something from the French culture, and we wanted to get that in on the dress. So if you look at it, the back, it is very, as we would put in inverted commas, sexy at the back. You can see the strap up. And at the front, it has that deep V-neck line, which represents the corset that the French ladies used to wear and still do up until a day like today. So the top piece basically represents the French. Now we added the sleeves, because a lot of our women back in the day did not want to reveal themselves. You know how our culture is. You know, your mom would tell you, cover up, cover up. So we decided to add the sleeves. The sleeves not only helps to cover up, but it gives some structure and balance to the dress as well. So as you can see, we have two puff sleeves at the top, two puff sleeves to balance the top piece of the dress. Now, as the dress flows down, we now enter into the English territories, as I would put it, because the bottom piece is actually the petticoat. Back in the day, you had many European powers and ladies wearing the petticoat, but it was very fashionable for the English, the petticoat. That narrow piece that widens out at the bottom, so that piece actually symbolizes the English, quote unquote, on us or in us. Now, as you can see on the screen, we have what is called a wrap. There is a wrap and it is made from a madras. Now, why we use the madras, remember the English, they had colonies all throughout the world. India being one of their colonies as well. And in India, that material was fabricated in India. So what they would do, instead of buying from the Dutch and those persons to break up their monopoly, they would trade among their own islands, their own colonies. So they went back to India and they got the madras. That is why you see the madras as a staple throughout the Caribbean in many of the national wear, because we were once colonized by the English and they would take their different materials and bring it to the colonies so as to save money as well. So we use that madras. And we actually use that colored one because it actually matched the beige or the off-white inner dress. So when we come back, I'm going to actually continue with my description so that our viewers can understand more the wear.
All right. So CookUp connoisseurs, we'll be right back.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing. But hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we stand. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Welcome back, CookUp connoisseurs. Now, we looked at the female outfit with Dr. Woodley. Dr. Woodley, tell us a bit about the male outfit and what makes it traditional, because you mentioned all of those elements, the French and the British elements in the female outfit. What makes the male outfit traditional?
Well, the male outfit is traditional. Remember, what we are trying to capture is the Caribbeanness. So we just don't only want to have elements from the English, from the British, from the French, or even from Africa. What we also wanted to incorporate was the post-emancipation mind of the men in the Federation. A lot of the men did not want to wear the European clothing anymore. So we opted for the jack shirt, or the shirt jack in some places as it is called, because it was seen as a way of breaking away from colonial ties, not the normal petticoat or the coats that the white planters, plantocracy used to wear. So they used the jack shirt as a way of showing that they were liberated.
Rather than the tie,
and the jacket, which keep us hot. And this shirt, which is called the jack shirt, and it is throughout the Caribbean as well. In Cuba, where I studied, we have what is called the guayabera. And it's similar, it has similar elements to it. And what it shows that although we were on different islands, we were experiencing the same thing. We wanted the same thing, which was freedom. We wanted to cut our ties, especially with our oppressors. So the jack shirt, I can recall my father, this is what he lived in. And many of the men from around his time wore the jack shirt, and they wore it with pride. That is why we thought that it had to be part of our national wear for the men. And of course, we lined it with the madras in keeping with, the English heritage. And it actually, and when I want persons who are going to make it fitted so it looks well. Because our men back in the day, they were stylish people. They dressed well.
Yes, they did.
They dressed well. So the shirt has to be fitted nicely. You have to put the madras where it should be, around the neck and on the pockets. The normal jack shirt would have 4 pockets, but we did not take all of the elements because we're trying to make it our thing, our Kittitian thing. And as you can see, we have the hat. The hat symbolizes our men who are always in the cane fields, and it was used, to protect themselves. However, as black people, we always turn limes into lemonade. We use that hat that we use to protect ourselves, and we made it a fashion statement as well. So on Saturdays or, on any special occasions, you will see men in the community with their hats, and that is why we decided to incorporate that as well. Now, a very important part of the national wear for the men is the pant. The pant was made, or should be made, from crocus.
All right.
I realized
not
the khaki. The original thought process was the crocus, because on the plantation where you had the crocus bag being thrown about after it was used, they decided they were so creative
and resilient
that they used this cheap and durable material to make themselves clothing. And that's why we wanted to get the crocus into that part of the national wear for the men. So it's actually the crocus material and not the khaki. It's understandable we're in a hot place, and that is why the khaki was substituted. But I do believe we can find a cloth that resembles the crocus so that we can use to get a better representation of the national wear for men.
So that's a challenge for you out there who would like to represent the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in our national wear. Let's see. Now, in terms of you, Dr. Woodley, we know you're a very busy person. You took the time here. You have a medical practice. We see you on the medical show.
Yeah, Healthwise.
Healthwise on ZIZ. You address different organizations, and you have a family. Now, they usually say, when you would like something done, give it to a busy person to do. So tell us what is happening to you in terms of maybe even socially at the point in time when the national wear was designed. Were you that busy at the time?
Well, I was actually in school. I was at university.
So yes, you were still busy.
So I was busy, and I was actually home during the vacation when I saw the ad. And what was interesting, as I would have mentioned some time back about that year, 2003, it was a year of national pride. Kim Collins had just won, the 100 meters dash. Everybody wanted to be a Kittitian. National pride was at its highest. Then I saw this ad. And why this ad struck a chord with me is because at school, when we would have had like cultural events, all the other countries would show up in their garbs, in their national wear. And we would show up with a shirt with a flag on it. And it saddened me because I know we are a proud people. So why is it that was 2003, we didn't have anything? I came home and I inquired and I got the answer that we don't have anything. And it still further saddened me. And every year I would go back to school and I thought this should not be. So when I saw the ad, I put my hand up and said, okay, let's go.
And you incorporated your
and then I
and your
incorporated,
friends.
because for me, a national wear, you have to get the unique perspectives from everybody. A national wear just cannot be from me, because I see things differently to how you would see things. And the ad also encouraged that we do it as a group instead of a singular person, because they understand what a national wear should be like.
All right. So do you still have a creative outlet today among all that busyness that I mentioned before?
Do I have a creative outlet? And that is the problem. I'm trying to slow down so I can get my creative juices back and flowing. And who knows, I may do something else as important as this again.
All right, we look forward to that. And she said it here first. Last year was the 40th anniversary of independence. And the designers of the different symbols were given honors, and you and your team were also awarded because of that. So how does that make you feel, knowing that you contributed not just to are contributing to national development for the work that you're currently doing, but that you would have done so previously specifically in something that basically is going down in the hallmarks of history? How did you feel receiving that acknowledgement?
Well, I must say, honestly, after so many years, we were not looking for anything. No, we were not. And I want to underscore that it was a team effort. It was myself, my sister Grace, my cousin Vaughn, and Mr. Weeks. So I don't want to erase that at all. It was a team effort. We sat at the Sandy Point High School and we grinded. So many years had passed that we were given the normal, traditional, subliminal recognition, and then that was it. But what was important for me over all those years was that I contributed to nation building. We contributed to nation building. So when we were called last year, I was totally blown back that we were given, we would have been given, a token of a gift for the work that we would have done. So I want to thank, the Ministry of Sustainable under the minister, Miss Clark, Joylette Clark, because I think it was her ministry that spearheaded it. And we really want to thank them for recognizing us, because honestly, we were just satisfied for the job that we had done, for the creation that we did. And so many years had passed, we were not looking for anything. So when that happened, it was just like the icing on the cake for us. We were so elated, we thanked them. We got a nice piece of land in Sandy Point, of course. Very nice. And we're going to make history, and I'm going to say it here first, we're going to make history with that land down there. Okay. So just wait out for us.
Yes, we are looking out to see. So CookUp connoisseurs, Don't go anywhere. We need to take a short break, but we'll be right back.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Joylette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to the Sankis Craft House. This is where life begins, and what we create will leave you speechless. We train, we create, we promote, and we maintain the highest standards. Experience life for yourself. The premier craft and production facility in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one on the lady that will bring you down.
Welcome back, CookUp connoisseurs, and we have with us Dr. Joylette Woodley-Fassale, and she is going to continue this discussion with us all about the national wear of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, we are going to stem over into something that is taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis that has to do with creatives. In fact, it's called the Creative Power Arts Convention, currently taking place at Marriott, and some of the fringe activities are at the Royal St. Kitts. And there is going to be a Creative Power Arts Gala and Awards ceremony where you can dress in costume. Dr. Woodley, considering that you designed our creative wear, if you were to attend, now I'm not saying she's coming, but if you were to attend this gala, what do you think you would wear?
I guess the normal answer would be the national wear. But I do believe that the national wear should be worn to activities that are of national importance. Activities where St. Kitts is being showcased, because it is a symbol of St. Kitts. So I would not advocate that the dress be worn for any activity. Once St. Kitts is being showcased, then of course, I would advocate that the national dress be worn. However, persons can take certain elements from the dress and, add it to their attire and go to that particular event. Because being a Kittitian and a vision, especially when you are going to be an ambassador, it has to be done correctly. It has to be done correctly. And so that is why I don't really advocate that persons either alter the dress either. I don't advocate that. And if you are going to wear it, you wear it the way it should be worn. No alterations at all. And if you're going to take elements from it, then, it's perfectly okay.
All right, so there's a little technical question that I have to follow up that. The original sash on the shirt, on the skirt of the dress, it was more open and it flowed down. Now I see the sash being tied around the waist.
So it actually supposed to have a loop, as it is seen in the original drawings. In fact, I actually have the newspaper clippings. No, I am like that. I have the newspaper clippings where we sent in the original drawings. So the madras is actually a loop. It loops around. And why was that? Because the women of the day, they carried the soda to fertilize the cane, the sugar cane plant, and that was held in that. Yes, so that is why it had that actual, shape like that, because the soda was inside there. Actually, the gravity was pulling down on it. So this is why it has that shape, and that is what we wanted to capture in the wear. Okay, so I am appealing to the public, if you're going to wear the dress, please wear it the way it should be worn, and there should not be any alterations to the dress or the male's outfit.
Right. So those persons who are not aware, the soda is a kind of a powdery,
white powdery substance
that they would put in that same pouch Dr. Woodley is talking about. They would take their hand, take out some, and sprinkle it along the cane fields. Okay, so that has a very useful purpose, and that was the way it was intended. So what about the September 18th? It's dubbed Patriotic Day, and then throughout the month of September there are Fridays where we are encouraged to wear particular colors. So one Friday it would be black, the next Friday it would be red, and don't quote me on that. I don't know the, the schedule as yet, but every Friday. So would you say residents should be encouraged to wear and maybe even come up with creative ways of wearing these colors?
Yes, I really do think so. And we are brilliant people. And we need to use our minds to be creative as it is. So instead of just wearing the normal red and the normal green and black, do something that would be interesting.
Right.
Do something that would capture, people as you walk by in the streets.
Okay.
So I do encourage, and I want everybody to be a part of it. This is your homeland, be a part of it. So often we said, oh, that's not for me. It is for all of us.
Yes, I like the way you said that.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at our notices, and we call them the seasoning mix, because we have created a cook-up where we have all the ingredients in. So it's now time for us to taste and make sure it is seasoned to the perfect way. So let's have our seasoning mix right now, CookUp connoisseurs.
All hot.
So now our pot has in the ingredients, it's bubbling. So let's first look at the Creative Power Arts Convention currently taking place at Marriott and at the Royal St. Kitts. There'll be literal training for creatives or even persons aspiring to be creatives. There's a business and music section, anything from touring to concerts, artistic management, development. There's acting courses being given by Sandra Oakley. There's arts and education by Alexandra Darcy, dance and choreography, music production, makeup and locks extension. There's anything that would help to develop creatives. It's right over there at the Power Arts Convention. So it's something that creatives would have known about previously. And so you would have taken the opportunity to make yourself present. And there's lots of ways you could do that. There's one-on-one sessions as well as there are virtual sessions for those persons who can't make it over there in person. There are also many fringe events. There was an opening ceremony and cocktail. There was a claws nail competition. I like the name. There was a paint and connect. And then there was also there is going to be a pitch perfect competition coming soon. So go to their site. Don't take my word for it. Go to the site and you'll be able to see all that's presently happening, and it goes all the way down until this coming Saturday, when there'll be the gala and awards ceremony where you can wear your creative outfits. Now we also need to remind you, CookUp connoisseurs, there's still time to volunteer to assist with any of our cultural activities. You can go to our site, Facebook, ICH, SKN or SKN ICH, and you'll find that information of how you can become a volunteer, as well as we're still looking out for new traditional knowledge bearers, new TKBs. So check us out. You can put your smart device to the computer. You'll go right to the registration forms, the app, and the forms where you can submit the invitations. So CookUp connoisseurs, we were very humbled to have with us one of the designers of our national wear, Dr. Joylette Woodley-Fassale, and she was able to tell us how they came up with the concept, what they did, and this was the result. So Dr. Woodley, thank you very much for being our guest today. The CookUp connoisseurs, thank you for staying with us. And remember where you can find us: Facebook, YouTube. Do join us again. And remember that together we can safeguard our living heritage. Bye.